Hi friends, welcome to a Miss Mindy Minute. This is a time where you as a student and I as a school counselor work on what can sometimes be the hardest things, heart things. During our time together, we will focus on ways you can work to make your heart and your actions and choices to mirror the heart of Jesus. Today I want you to meet my friend Alexis, the axolotl. Everybody say hi, Alexis. Good. Now Alexis is here to teach us a little about axolotls today. Alexis, I went to the aquarium this summer and I learned a lot about axolotls. I learned that you mostly come from Mexico, right? And that you're pretty easygoing. So people can easily have an axolotl as a pet because they are not very aggressive animals. They are happy just to swim underwater and eat. Even though they don't like to be touched, axolotls still won't be too aggressive towards humans. And in the rare occasion that they might bite, those bites don't tend to hurt a lot, especially when the axolotls are still younger and smaller. And you always look like you're a baby, don't you, Alexis? Because you don't want to grow up. Axolotls retain their baby features by keeping their external gills, those flare things around their neck, a tail, a body fin, and they always lack movable eyelids. Alexis, you're a cutie, aren't you? However, sometimes axolotls are not so cute. In fact, legend has it that their flared gills of the axolotl are actually a disguise for fire and lightning breathers so that they can ward off danger. I bet when you have big feelings, Alexis, I bet you don't just look like a baby, you act like a baby, right? For instance, when you have a big feeling of anger, you probably throw a temper tantrum on the floor, right? And maybe when you have a big feeling of frustration, maybe you just walk away, right? And then maybe when you are annoyed by maybe your brother or your sister, you boss them around. And I imagine that when you feel hurt or sad or scared, you just shut down. Big feelings can cause us to behave like little creatures, can't they? So, Alexis, here's an axolotl joke. Are you ready? Why did the axolotl throw a temper tantrum? What do you think, Alexis? Because she had a lot of feelings. Right? And we all have a lot of big feelings. And on top of breathing fire when feeling big feelings, scientists have learned that when axolotls are forced to share a tank with another axolotl, they often become violent and territorial. They bite the gills and toes and tails right off of each other. That makes sense too, doesn't it? That when we are feeling big feelings, we unfortunately hurt the others around us, don't we? Now, we may not bite off their tails and toes and gills, but we may say things in such a bitey way that it hurts the other person's feelings very deeply. Mishandling big feelings can cause injury to those around us. However, here's the good news, Alexis. All axolotls have salamander superpowers. First, if an axolotl feels threatened, they can change their dark colored skin and shift their hue a few shades lighter or darker as needed for camouflage. Second, Laboratory studies have shown that if an axolotl gets hurt or injured, it can heal itself by regrowing a new limb 5 times perfectly in a few weeks without even a scar. And then finally, it is said that axolotls are over 1,000 times more resistant to cancer than mammals are, which means that they have something miraculous in them to protect them from things that are hurtful. Isn't that cool, Alexis? And you too, there in your classroom, have super student powers. If you have big feelings, you first need to acknowledge that those feelings are real. Feelings aren't bad. Feelings aren't good. They're just feelings. It's what you do with feelings that makes the behaviors bad or good. So once you've recognized what you're feeling, you can then put your super student powers into action. When you're feeling big feelings, you can camouflage them until there's a good place and time to release them. When you're feeling big feelings because your body or your emotions have been hurt, you can use coping skills to heal yourself, like through deep breathing, through physical activity, or getting love and hugs from someone you trust. And then finally, building up protection allows us to be more resistant to hurtful things. The way I like to do this is decide what things are within my power of control and what is outside my power of control. Then I can manage my feelings ahead of time, knowing what I can control and what I can't control about a situation. This makes me resistant to the things that can hurt me and cause those big emotions. And your teacher right there in your classroom has an activity that will help you with deciding which ones are in your circle of control and which ones are not, so that you have tools to handle big feelings. The book of Proverbs has something to say about having super student powers. Here's what it says in Proverbs chapter 16, verses 32. Whoever is slow to anger is better than the mighty. In other words, those who control their big feelings are better than the big, most muscular wrestler out there. And he who rules his spirit, in other words, he who is in control of his big feelings, or she who is in control of her big feelings, is better and bigger than a warrior or a politician who rules a city. Wow, right? In other words, being in control of our big feelings gives us power to be leaders in our classroom. I want that, don't you? Thanks for joining us, Alexis, the axolotl. That's all for today's Miss Mindy Minute. Until next time, bye-bye.